Moses.
Welcome to another episode of We Own the Table, where we are not beg, borrowing, or stealing a seat at the table because we built this table. And today I have the wonderful Kim Carter. I mean, I don't usually do this. I don't usually have a script here with folks' bio, but with Kim, I was like, okay, let me look. Let me plug that, okay. Let me plug that. Let me plug that. I was like, I got to read this whole doggone thing with everything that's been going on with this sister friend right here. But Kim Carter is the founder and ambassador of Time for Change. She is a powerful leader for transforming the lives of those impacted by poverty, marginalized, and recidivism. That's the one thing that led me to Kim years ago when I first met Kim, was the work that she has been doing with Time for Change. Kim has been changing the lives of women all up and down the state of California. And I haven't talked to you in a while, Kim, but I'm kind of afraid to ask if your reach is even coming outside of California, because I know you've been moving and shaking. You were in Southern California doing a lot of work. Now I see you've expanded in Northern California, and I'm pretty sure you kind of touching lives all in between. But you are just a dynamic force to be reckoned with in this particular industry for certain. I mean, when I sat on the city council and I met you, my interest was, okay, she knows a lot about housing and making sure people are not homeless and people are being taken care of, because giving people second chances, that's near and dear to my heart. And so I said, let me reach out to her so I can learn a little something more about, what she's been doing that's been so successful. Lord, when I tell y'all, I didn't know that I was going to get rained on with so much information. This woman, I mean, you are setting the trend. Like, you are the model. Your organization, the organization that you created, is the model, not just in California, is the model that needs to be followed across the nation. And I can't say enough about you and the work that you've done, the lives that you have touched, the things that you have changed. People are living better lives, getting their children back. I mean, working, getting their own places. Like, these are folks who systems have counted out. These are folks who, even those systems who said, oh, we rehabilitate. No, Kim, you really out here rehabilitating lives and changing people's lives for the better. And not just the mothers, but the children, the entire family unit. So without further ado, y'all, sister friends, we got Kim Carter here. And I'm going to let you, Kim, just tell these folks who you are. And how did you get here? How did you get to this place here?
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for that amazing introduction. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. I really love, the title, We Own the Table, because for so long, I was one of those people who was counted out. I was one of those ones who was marginalized. I don't get here by way of, Broadway. I get here from homeless encampments. I get here from the penitentiary. I get here from prostitution, drug addiction. See, I get here the long road, right? And so when I finally made it back into the realms of this thing called society, the last thing I needed was somebody trying to tell me how I got to go back to where I came from. See, sometimes we think of rehabilitated, but we never look at, was I ever even habilitated, right? Did I ever even have a chance? So some of my sisters that I work with, they never had a chance. They was already born into a dysfunctional family, heavily drug infested, gang and violence neighborhood, in schools that was underperforming, in neighborhoods that was underinvested. They was already packaged and prepared for another system. And it wasn't a system of health and well-being. It's a system of despair. It's a system of oppression. And it's a system of, taking our black and our brown bodies and profiteering off of it in these other industries like the criminal justice industry, in the nonprofit industrial complex, the industries, all these industries that need our bodies. And so I said, rather than me continue to be a product of someone else's system, let me start producing. Let me start producing what I know is in there, because inside of me was a person who wanted to live and wanted to change. So I'm Kim Carter. I'm the founder of Time for Change Foundation, and that's why it's called Time for Change, and not called Kim's Carter House or KC's House of Hope, because it was always about change. But I didn't know that change was not only just mean changing women's lives, but we had to change the laws. I didn't know that there were so many policies that targeted little old black me. How did I become so important that, all these punitive policies was targeting my behavior? Hey, we had to get a law made recently just about our hair. You hear me? The Crown Act. That is how cold the system has been to the black woman. And so, I'm proud to be a black woman. I'm proud to be a woke and a conscious black woman. And I'm proud to be one that can motivate others. So when you said that my reach is far reaching outside of the state of California, it's international, right? So, out of 50,000 nominations in 80 different countries, my organization and myself made to the top 10 for CNN Hero, and we heard our agency being spoken across the world in 19 different languages. And so it's about motivating. It's about giving hope to people that if she can do it, I can too. So I don't get to sit here like, I was a CNN hero from birth. No, I've been through some stuff to get here. So about that table, I'm going to make a table everywhere I go, because I can't wait for nobody to prepare a table for me. And I am a woman of faith. So, my God say I will prepare a table for you in the midst of your enemies. That he ain't gonna give you no empty table, so I get to feast on stuff, right? But I'm not gonna feast on stuff if my sisters is out there hungry. So my job and my role is to go in and help women get out of prison, come home, reunite with their children, and rebuild their families. My job is to go under the bridge and get women who are homeless and bring them in so they can go ahead and rebuild their lives. And we've done it for over 1,700 women. And I get to see women today that 19 years ago came through my program. There's now not only taxpayer citizens, but are voting, but are doing civic engagement, that are involved with their children's education, that are part of making safer neighborhoods for our community. Because see, we keep us safe, right? We don't need to be over policed and underprotected. We need to make sure that we are in charge of what we need for our community and quit being dependent on others and start depending on ourselves. So, we're really about self-sufficiency. We don't recycle the homelessness. Like, you don't come in homeless, leave out homeless. We don't time you out, because we know that it's a healing, right? So to your audience, let me hear you say healing. There's healing that has to take place, right? And that healing comes from healing from all of the trauma. We have had traumatic experiences being oppressed in these systems, whether it's microaggressions with these little Karens running around, running their mouth, or whether it's these systems that deny you opportunity when you're supposed to be able to get it, whether it's these irregularities in processes. Because it's like, for me, when I show up, all I say to people is, do not change the rules because I'm here. Whatever the playing field was before I showed up, make sure that you're still doing that play. Do not let me see that you change the rules, because then you're going to have a problem.
That's right. Keep it how it's been. That's right. That's right. Keep it the same.
That's all I'm saying, and I don't always get all the pursuits that I pursue. I don't know. They all always materialize, but I pursue enough of them that the half of them that do, they be really great. Right? Because I don't seek mediocrity. I seek perfection. I seek success. I seek the best because I want to give the best to those who need the most.
Let me stop you right there for a minute. Let me stop you right there for a minute. You just said a word. You don't seek for me. Okay, sister friends, if you don't get anything else from Kim Carter today, you better get this message right here because I'm seeing way too many folks who are settling for just good enough, who are settling for let me just get on by. And then they expect for this greatness to happen with whatever it is that they're working on. And then they can't understand, okay, why am I not, why am I not operating or receiving on the same level as let's say a Kim Carter? Because you're not putting out the same energy and efforts. You sitting up here saying, well, I'm just gonna take what they give me. So I'm so glad that you said that because I think that's so important in order for folks to rise kind of on that level of where you have been. 1,700 women.
Yes.
1,700 women.
And this week, we reunited our 299th child from foster care back with their mom. 299 children, but for the grace of God and Time for Change Foundation, right? Would have been sold off into foster care to strangers everlasting had it not been for us providing that very basic need that women have, and that is housing and support services. See, they have the system has taken our culture and our way of life, and they have demonized it, and they have came against women who are suffering from extreme poverty, and they have said you are neglecting your child. Not abusing, neglecting. You're unable to provide food, clothing, and shelter. And we all know that poverty is the number one indicator of not having your lights on. Poverty is the number one indicator of not having enough food in your refrigerator. Poverty is the number one indicator of living in an apartment building that might have water that don't run or toilets that's not fixed. Because we already know how slumlords get down, right? They can only get down because there are people who cannot even afford to move. So here you come, system. And instead of you addressing the root cause, which is poverty, what you say is, oh, your clothes is piled up. You haven't washed in weeks. Oh, you running around here with your baby outside. They need to have on suntan lotion. So you come up with these regulations and you demonize our motherhood. Out of all the children across the United States that have been under the investigation of the child welfare system, 50% of them are black. But we're only 5% of the world's population. But half of the children are black children. See, the government is the only entity that can come into your home legally and take your kids, sever your parental rights, and make your kids orphan. The government can do that. They used to do it to the Indians. They got the Indian Child Welfare Act right now. So one of the things we're working on, especially here in California, is to stop that dual track process of you working with reunifying kids and adopting them out. I mean, sister, for real, why is it that if you come to me and you say, well, you're only working your little 2 part-time jobs and you're not putting your kid in proper child care, and you see I'm in poverty, you say I'm not on drugs, I'm just doing what I gotta do. Instead of giving me that extra income, you take my child and give extra income to the stranger.
Somebody else. Yeah.
You understand, right? So so my child come with a check, but not when it's with me. When it's with somebody else.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. That was a shut your lips moment right there. Your child come with a check for somebody else to take care of them, but not for you and your child to stay out of poverty. I hadn't even thought about that, Kim. I hadn't even thought about that.
The cold system. And so while, I am a product of the criminal justice system, I definitely see how these systems are intertwined. And now that everybody know that racism is a public health crisis, now that everybody know that Black lives matter, now that everybody know that Black women have been the most underrepresented and harshly treated here in America, and because they're looking at everything from a paternalistic society, when the matter is for Black women, we have taken care of our families and our men. See, we wasn't came on this America with the luxury of letting our man go out and work, come home, take care of us. That's the white ideology right there. Period. From day one over here in the United States, we have been taking care of our kids, hoping we don't find our men hung. patting his back when he got the lesson from the master on there, watching our kids be sold, and still we continue. Yet we persisted. So no matter how much pain and trauma we went through, we kept going no matter what. So they say we got this thing called black girl magic. Because it must be magic, because anybody in their right mind would succumb to that pain and that suffering. But that black woman, she gonna keep on going. We could tear her family apart, sell her kids out to foster care, you know what I'm saying? Have her in these jobs with these glass ceilings, and we'll make her train her new boss, you know what I'm saying, on how to be her boss, right? And she gonna keep standing. But today, the black woman is rising and saying, no, 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 no. That not only do we matter, we know our vote matters and our voice matters. So y'all better watch out, because
That's right.
We're right now, and don't get it twisted. We ain't really that nice. We just been hoping and praying for a better day. We've been trying to all get along, but we ain't really that nice. And we are tired of being sick and tired.
But you about to have me in here shouting. I'm over here just like, you about to have me in here just going. I said, Kim in here having church. She is straight up having church up in here today. I mean, you have hit so many points. And you're right. It's a new day. The time is now, and that's why it was so important for you to be on this show, because you get it. You get it, raw, unfiltered, uncut. We're not trying to pacify anybody. We have done that for years. Like you said, the black woman has been the mother for everyone. We have let our milk down for everyone. Everybody has breastfeed on the black woman's nutrients, and we have taken care of everyone. But every time it turns around, it's like, nope, not you, not your turn, not your time, not your check, not your kids,
not your home, not your check, not your check. I'll give you 500, but I ain't gonna give you 10 million.
Thank you.
Thank you. Check.
Thank you. I'm gonna give you enough. I'm gonna give you just enough so you can be conditioned to always have to come back to this system. The same system that's gonna rob you, that's gonna break you down, and that's not gonna uplift you. So yeah, I'm gonna give you these little trinkets just so you can keep coming on back, and I can control everything that you're doing and saying. I mean, I'm so glad to see that you have expanded. You're right, international. When you were nominated for CNN, I was over there voting like every day. I was like,
can you vote for me? Vote for me.
But you know what? You are the prime example. I have served in public office. I have been a politician. It took a long time for me to even nurture that title of politician, because I didn't see myself as a politician. I just saw myself as a child of God who happened to serve in politics or whatever, but I didn't see myself as a politician. But one thing that you have done, which I'm glad that you're here and you're talking about that, because you talked about changing laws. You don't have to serve in public office to make a difference in policy and programs and politics. You don't have to. A lot of people run, like when I say, hey, why don't you run for office? Especially black women. They like, oh, no, that ain't my thing. That's not for me. But some of us have to do it, because otherwise we're not at the table. We're being left out at the table. But you brought up a great point that you still can make those changes and don't even have to be in those positions. How have you been so successful in making these changes on this policy? Because I know that you have been very busy with state, local, all types of different policies, and getting laws changed for the betterment of the people who you serve.
So one of the things that come with being franchised as opposed to disenfranchised is understanding how the franchise works, right? So the system, in the body politic, basically for black women of color, communities of color, we was raped of our voice. We wasn't at the ballot box. So now I know exactly how many votes it takes to get a person elected to the office. Now I know what your job is when you are in office. Now I know how your job is to make decisions on the budget. So now I know how, not only do I get you in the office, I have to make sure that while you're in there that you see me on a regular basis. Because I need to inform you of what to do. So people have been making laws without even asking us, like, what should they do, right? So we were being impacted by these laws. So I like to say we went from breaking laws to making laws. So, I'm a Women's Policy Institute fellow, and I've been up and down the state of California with politicians. I've learned, the bill process, the budget process, and how it all goes. Now, one thing about an elected official, you can't get elected if you don't got people that's voting for you. And so, and image is everything. Brand and image is everything with elected officials. So the thing about it is, you always want to be able to know what is that policymaker's brand, what do they stand for, and align yourself with people who have similar values. So there are some people that we don't share values, so don't waste your time there. Get with the ones that we do have similar values and just propose policies to them, and then become co-sponsors. We have co-sponsored bills. I've came up with ideas for laws. They've taken it forward because they don't know what needs to be changed. That's what our job is. That's a part of the civic engagement. I would never personally run for office, and I say that today, but never means I could change my mind tomorrow because I am the Black woman. But what I get a joy out of is helping to get them that support that they need. You have to get in there and support our sisters in office. They need money for the campaign. They need volunteers. And so, when you come from a mentality of, working so hard for pennies, the idea of volunteering is like, I don't got time for that. I'm over here struggling. But when we get into that part of the giving, right? When we get to the spirit of giving, then we have to give time to the campaigns to help our Black sisters to not only get in office, but to stay in office. And we got to hold them accountable, because the worst thing in the world that you hate is somebody you get in office. Also, they act like they forgot why you got them.
They get brand new.
So
they get brand new.
So then when they get pulled out, you be like, see, now see. Now I'm saying, see, now you know my name. Now you know the call. Answer the call. Hey,
Say my name. Say my name.
and the thing about it is that we looking at being most effective. And if it's a Black woman in there who is don't went to the middle of the road and she's not pushing no progressive policies to really impact the community, then I don't care if you're a Black sister in there now. Now, if I can find a Hispanic sister going to push a policy that's going to alleviate some of the pain and suffering happened to my women in church, that's what I'm going to roll with. So it's about being effective. Right? If you're going to be powerful, you got to get results. Result means being effective. So I want to be making sure that I'm getting results. I want to see alleviation of pain and suffering. I want the system to get their foot off of my community's neck. That's it, right? We ain't even trying to get you for your money, because the bottom line is we are so brilliant. Our entrepreneurship skills is impeccable. So now here I am, if I'm able to come and create not only an organization, but I created like 3 or 4 different companies. Right? Successful ones. If I can do that after having been smoked on crack, imagine what you could do. You done been to college and stuff. All you need right now is for me to light that fire under you to get you on track to do what God wants you to do. You done got educated. Now what's your excuse? You need somebody that's motivated, somebody that's passionate, somebody that's cares, concerned for the community. You have something bigger than yourself you working for, and then you won't sit at home and do nothing. You will get out there and you will go make it happen, because the world is waiting on us.
Man, you just dropped some nuggets right there, and I'm not talking about catfish or chicken. Okay, you just dropped some nuggets, and I mean that's so true. And the one thing that you said that really hit close to home for me, and having had served in political office, you're right. People get in, they may do something. It's a little harder for Black women that's running for them to get the support that they deserve and need, and the money. Because people always forget it takes money to get people in office, but it just doesn't stop when that person gets elected. Because what tends to happen is folks get in the office and people scatter like roaches when the lights come on. You're like, where is all the people who was marching with me, who was knocking on doors, who was, rallying on my behalf? They're gone. And these people need that support all the way through. They're in their whole entire term. They need your support. Not necessarily always monetary. Sometimes people just need somebody just to call and say, "Ooh, girl, they at me today, and I need you to, I need some words of encouragement to keep going." Because so I'm so glad that you recognize that it's important for us to make sure, and especially as Black women, that if we're going to run, that we run and keep our integrity. And then if they're going to run, we also hold them accountable no matter what race they are.
Well, you think about it is you have to know if you're going to be a woman of color and you're going to be successful, you're going to be targeted. I mean, here I am. I'm not even elected official, but I get white men millionaires come out their bed to come fight against my little stuff. You know, I go for their fighters because see, I'm an affordable housing developer, and so the fact that I know how to build buildings and do it at a cost-effective measure, and to be able to allow it to be accessible for women of color to be able to get into those low-income houses that look so good, that makes them shaking their boots. They coming out. Speaking of on my projects, I mean, I don't care, Tanya. It could be some dirt that's been sitting there for 25 years. Ain't nobody touched it. Kim Carter say, hey, I want that dirt. I want to build some affordable housing on it. I try to get that dirt, and everybody comes to city council meeting. Oh, wait a minute, sir, but if you wanted that land, why don't you just go ahead and buy it? Because surely you're a millionaire, you can afford it. I'm just trying to put together some pennies to go ahead and just put up a couple of 15, 20 units of low-income housing. I ain't trying to do a whole block. I ain't trying to do a subway, a park, a new library and all that. I'm not even going to get in y'all way with all that. I'm just trying to just do a little something for my community, because I'm tired of waiting for the housing authority with an 8-year waiting list for my women to get housing they can afford. I'm tired of the world calling them essential workers. They out here working, putting their life on the line, but can't even afford the rents that's currently going on in the Inland Empire or the Bay Area. So who else going to build housing for us? Surely the government not keeping up with demand. We wouldn't have such a long waiting list. So you must be waiting on me. And so, I get them all ruffled up, and then I'm financially literate. So, when it comes to them budgets and talking them dollars, I'll be right there with them. They don't like it. They don't like it because I can show you all the money that's just being wasted. They could be used to actually help people. And my whole thing is, what's wrong with really helping people? Ain't nobody taking you from your high class, whatever you got going on, to help people who making $15, $16 an hour, $20 an hour. Why shouldn't they be able to have affordable housing, have money for the movies on the weekend, take care of their kids, be able to buy medicine, and go to work too? Why does it have to be they want to work 40, 50 hours a week and still can't afford the basics? It's too much in this world for it to be too much suffering and too much extreme poverty when we got so much income inequality that's happening. So we got income inequality, we got racial inequality. At Time for Change Foundation, one of the things that people say, how are you able to work with the Black women? And because we have a hard time keeping them and getting them, because you don't really know us. You're afraid to ask the Black woman, what does she actually need? Because if she tell you, you actually got to do some work to get it. And so it's not like you can create these programs. We're supposed to just come and sit up in there. We know BS when we see it. We are the Black woman. We want to see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, taste it, eat it. Let me swallow it and digest it before I believe, right? So if you're not selling me some really good hope and keeping me motivated, I can't believe it, because I've been hoodwinked so many times. It's just like hard for me to grasp onto, a possibility. But when you take your program and you shape it in a form where they can actually always see success. So all of our alumni, we always have them a part of the program so they can see a sister that 2 years ago was where they at. Now that sister got her own place, got her car. Now she's doing good. So we always keep in front of them an example. So it's not like, oh, Kim Carter, 27 years ago, I was in prison. It's not, if somebody 2 years ago was, and now they're doing well, off parole, got a job. One of the things that we just got opened up was a restaurant, right? So here we are. So we do a community development. So, we build affordable housing, and we just got donated a restaurant, and, we got it all cleaned up. We ain't opened it yet because we're in the middle of the COVID. So the COVID brought a blessing, right? The COVID brought a restaurant, and we're going to turn it into something that's going to be a micro enterprise, social enterprise. We're thinking along the lines of, can we create some kind of a product that can be used in other food service industries, right? How do we give our women opportunity for the entrepreneurship that we're teaching them to be able to use that space to create something? Not just we don't want to just start flipping burgers. That ain't a wholesale dream right there. But can we use that restaurant kitchen to help folks who are trying to be sous chefs to come in and get their sous chef cook on? Do we have people that can come in and learn how to do certain kind of meals, to be in a certain kind of industry? Like what can we do that's vibrant, is going to help the community, even healthy stuff? So we're looking into that, and
And where is this? What area are you looking at this, Kim?
So the restaurant is already in San Bernardino. It was the old Yum Yums restaurant right behind
Oh yes,
on Fifth and
yes.
Millwood. So now we have the restaurant, and we're just looking at how we're going to utilize that space. That's going to be a part of a larger strategy. Our larger strategy is I want to create this hub. So see, being in the Bay Area and being up here with this fresh water and this fresh breeze with these fresh people have given me some fresh innovation, some fresh ideas. And so one of the things that I know we're missing in the Inland Empire is innovation. We don't have a place where you can bring your idea and take it from idea to concept to product, right? We don't have a place you can pitch your product and get investors. We don't have capital investors sitting there. We don't even have really good Wi-Fi. Like we need to have innovation, girls that code. We need to have all that centralized in one location. So I want to start what I'm going to call the Bebop Center, Black and Brown Opportunity for Profit Center. And I want to do that in the city of San Bernardino and have like 16 different code office spaces and conference rooms. I want to have the walls, man, that whiteboard where you can walk by and write your idea up. I done been up in here. I done been in Google. I done been in Facebook. I done been in Silicon Valley. I done been in Uber. I done been in Square Up. I see how the office space look. I see how they get down in there. And that vibe and that energy, that it just brings out stuff for you. Like we got to create our own economy. What works for us? We got to recycle our own dollars. So I'm excited about that. And I got a little entrepreneurship in me and these other women around here. They just as brilliant as well. They got ideas. Let's put our heads together. Let's start making an economy that works for us. And then we're going to go and we're going to tap into, on a federal level, the Secretary of Interior. Because we need to make sure that we're not getting our knees chopped off at the trade that's being done. Because one of the things that bothers me, I'm just going to tell you what really bothers me, is that I can't get my black hair products from my black sister. See, that bothers me. That bothers me. And I go to plenty of barbershops and plenty of hair shops, and I see my black sisters in there owning shops and all that. But we ain't got our own stuff. Our yaki hair and all that, because the trade is monopolized and the deal's been made at the border before stuff even comes in here. Or who's going to sell us stuff? So you look at the population of people who sells us that product, they're the same everywhere you go. I don't care if you're in New York, you're in Philadelphia, you whatever, that same population of people sell us the product because the deal was made. See, we want to undo some of those deals so we can be a part of the global economy. The global economy. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm excited about that. I probably got a good 20 more years left on these tires.
Girl, I'm telling you, them tires ain't never wearing out. I just don't see it happening. I mean, you have always been so very innovative, and that's really what really drew me to you, because I was like, man, the ideas that she's coming with is like, okay, whoop, here's the wall that they put up, and you were like, okay, no problem. Let me go on around that. The wall you putting up ain't stopping nothing, and I was like, and then you bring it, and then you always you fill in the gap, you bridge the gap, and then you bring people together. You always bring people together who necessarily wasn't having conversations with each other that needed to. This organization, like, it was disjointed until you came into the picture and said, wait a minute, you have this, you have this, you have that, all of you have something that's needed for this. Why y'all not talking and bringing that together? Then you bring them folks together, then they like, oh yeah, like they always been on the train.
And that's okay. Yeah. Think about it. This is how I look at it. If I can help your business to be successful, then you're one more sister friend with a successful business. If I ever fall on hard times, I try to call my sister friend. I want to be surrounded with sister friends that are very, very successful. Period. Because success gleans success, and success is not a destination. It's just a benchmark to greater things. But if we can get enough successful sisters on track, because we all got it in us. We can imagine multiple businesses not even having the LLC. We've been doing that for years. Right? right? So we come together with this hub, the ideas that I have, like tapping into, small business administration, getting your EIN number and stuff together, getting your product tested. There's so many things that we really want to get patents on. We got ideas, but we know they steal black people's intellectual property. And me, people want to take me to lunch. I was like, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to eat, and I'm going to give you just a little bit. Because see, Karen, you gotta sign up for my consulting services if you want me to do business development and tell you what to do with your business.
That right there.
I got a business called the Center for Housing Advancement and Motivational Projects, and the website is www.kimschamp KIMSCHAMP.com, kimschamp.com. So I can help you think the whole idea through, from idea all the way to product, right? But at the end of the day, I'm going to put that time and effort into building your dream. Then at the end of the day, you're going to have to sow into my business, right? It goes like that, right? And so, as black women, we have to make sure that we don't let people steal our intellectual property, because, ain't nothing changed from when James Brown and them was out trying to make songs and they was taking their tunes. And we can look at the Lion King right now. And the Lion King, the lyric was done by some man all the way in some hut in Africa, and his family got a little bit of money. And what they say, we're going to give the money to some white trustees in Africa to give it to them, because they never had that kind of money before. And then the money wound up getting squandered anyway. Like, no, we need to be able to be in charge of our own monies, our own economies, and make our own decisions. We can think now. We can read now. Hello, world. We's here. We got this.
We sure do. We sure do. Oh my goodness. And you're so right. You're so right. And it's not that, and it's sad because not only do they take our intellectual property, we give it away. We give it away, and we just like, oh, here you go on the platter. Here you go. And then we sit with like, oh my goodness, how, somebody's doing what I've been dreaming about for years, So I'm so glad that you really tapping into that, especially that whole entrepreneurial side, because that's where it's going to be for a lot of folks, especially now that we see what's happening with COVID, and we see the responses of our federal government. They don't care anything about what's going on and what you got going on. To see all these people out here fighting and hustling and trying to get PPP and EIDL, and then they was getting to run around, and then denied and all this stuff, and mainly black folks. And then they was telling them, oh, your application wasn't filled out right. You didn't dot your I or cross your T. And so we were left out of the table. And then it was like, then when it was this cry, it was like, oh, okay, let's get him a little bit, but we're still not going to give him as much as my homie over here who owned this multi-million-dollar business, who didn't even need the money, but we're going to give him, a couple $100 million. We're going to come over here and give this person, Kanye West even got a piece of the pie. So, so we have to take matters into our own hands when it comes to our destiny. We can't sit back and look for anyone to say, okay, we're going to step up and make sure you get what you need.
No, exactly. One of the things that, when we talk about Black Lives Matter and we talk about the number one cop for the nation basically doesn't even regard Black life as something that matters. I heard him on TV the other day talking about, there's just been a few incidences, but there's no big deal that you see officers shoot the unarmed black man. It's no big deal to you, right? And so them was our brothers, them was our sons, them was our sisters, and we feeling that same trauma and tension we felt back in the day when our men was up there hanging from a tree. Ain't nothing changed when it comes to that pain, that suffering, and with us is in our DNA. It took me some days to really, come out of a funk after George Floyd. I mean, some days. Usually I can come back a little bit. It took me some days, and basically it was like mourning, right? So my DNA was mourning, my genetic code was mourning at that white officer putting his knee on my brother's neck and acting like that wasn't the life up under there. You see what I'm saying? And we're not finna go back into the way it was. COVID-19, we got a pandemic. We got an epidemic. We got unemployment rates. We got people is wait. We got evictions that's finna. We got evictions that's finna hit this world like a tsunami, right? We got a Katrina worth the hurricanes happening with the evictions about to hit this world right now. And then let me just tell you my latest pet peeve about the Inland Empire. You know John Hughes, and he does this Inland Empire Economic Partnership. He puts out this article saying that actually black people in the Inland Empire haven't.
I saw that.
Yeah, I said to myself, hold up. First of all, do we need John Hughes speaking on black people? Number one.
I saw that, and I was like, okay, he's not the one to put that article out.
No, but he put it out because he put it out because it's a part of that narrative.
Yeah.
I'm going to dummy this stuff down for the Inland Empire so we can do business as usual. But see, racism is a public health crisis, and it is white supremacy going on, and you are a part of that system because at the same time, we had a report come out called Ain't No Sunshine, and it was put out by UCR along with the Black Workers Center, and it talked about the dismal data regarding black people's employment in the Inland Empire. And what do, John Hughes? You do an article in the paper, you ain't even consulting the black people. You don't even got no black friends, number one. Number two, you're a part of the Inland Empire Economic Partnership. Y'all don't even have no black people on your staff. None of your staff, none of your board, none of your management. You do not need to be talking about black people. You need to shut your hole talking about black people. And so they're working on a response to that right now. But they lucky I wasn't down there because I'd have had a response out the next day. But I did put it on social media because see what you're going to try to do is act like the Inland Empire, the last place of the KKK. You're going to act like you're going to just turn around and get us back to where we was. No. No. We don't got no more comfortable black folks in the Inland Empire. Everybody is upset. Everybody is done. And all the older ones, they too tired to march anyway. But we're not going to go back to the way it was. COVID is affecting us. Racism is affecting us. The pandemic affecting us. And we just can't sit here on the sideline and let this bum. And when I say bum, it's because how dare you? How dare you? It's like a random article. Randomly, you decide to walk in. But see, I know you did that because somebody asked you to. Because see, there's some other rooms going on where, we have funders who fund the oppressor and fund the people who are doing the work, right? And it's our job to show the funders you're working against us. You're thinking helping build their activity going to help our people, but they are part of our problem. So see what it is right now that they're trying to position themselves that blacks ain't that bad because the world know right now. If you don't know right now, black people need investment in communities. We having black-led organizations, black women-led organizations need support. You ain't gonna never know. And so I feel like that little article was a ploy to try to set some new data out. But like that report came out and said, ain't no sunshine. Okay, so that means that UCR and Blue Educational Foundation and Black Workers Center did some data. Black people got it bad in the Inland Empire. We ain't that big of a population in there, but we got most of the data when it comes to HIV, when it comes to maternal child health, with infant mortality, unemployment, homelessness.
COVID-19.
You see what I'm saying? And we ain't even that big of a population in the Inland Empire, but we in the bottom of all the data. And this bunk come out with that kind of report? Not on my watch. So it's stuff like that, then I'll get attacked and all that. But guess what? My God. Woo! When he say, let me follow your battles, I be doing just that. God, have that fight right over there.
Oh my goodness.
It's just a distraction. See, that kind of stuff I think distracts you from your primary purpose. But if you let it go undone, it just derails progress that's being made on the ground. So we actually got things happening on the ground, successful things happening on the ground that's not going to be stopped because you can't stop the sun from coming up. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's just one more lesson to show us that the oppressors ain't sleep, and they ain't all died off yet neither. They still right there, waiting to write an article for nothing.
Yeah, and when I saw the article, I was like, they like to get into, when we come out with something, they ask us, where's the scientific data and where's the numbers and where's it coming from and how is it driving? And when I read that, I was like, this is an opinion piece. This isn't even It's not data driven. There's not a lot that went into it. And like you said, it didn't even include the very people who you were talking about in the article. Like you didn't even bother to say, even just reach out to the NAACP. You didn't even do that benchmark. You didn't even touch that surface. And say, hey, what are you saying about this or whatnot? So yeah, when I read it, I said, okay, it was nothing new. Um, it's not a new tactic. It's just they digging in the crates these days to circle back around to go back to some of the things of where we were, because there's a lot of people that's afraid for black people as a whole, including especially black women, to elevate and to rise, and especially at this given time right now. And I believe that that's why you see so many efforts in trying to dismantle any type of efforts that we're making to better our communities. Just like, the other day, Trump came out and talked about, oh, we're gonna stop all these diversity conversations. So if you're gonna, if it's diversity, you can't get no federal dollars talking about, anything diversity. And then what? Last night he come out and talk about, well, we're gonna talk about patriotism. So I got a new curriculum that's going out across the world about patriotism, which really means non. If you're black, if you're brown, if you're anything else, we're not talking about it.
Exactly. And the bottom line is, but he already showed us who he was. See, when somebody show me who they are, I believe it.
Well, we knew that. That's why I don't understand why people get like every day the shock. And I'm like, but he was doing this before he got into office. Like, so why are you surprised? Like, before he got in, he was telling you he was grabbing people by peas. Before, like all of this happened before he got in, but he got in.
And the thing about it is, I don't think that people really could stomach all of the truths. Like some people, even black people need a watered down mild version. They'll say, "Oh, I'm radical. Oh, you just went gangster on them." I just went straight out. I'm gonna go around the bush. We got time to go around the bush. Move the bush and then look at here. This is what's happening, right? Let's just talk straight. And so a lot of times people just can't take the truth. And so they just can't take it. So they want to send you back. Well, who said it? What PhD said that? And all that. Hey, I don't got a PhD. I got a PhD. I said it. I've said it, right? And but one thing for sure, no matter what, and they can go back to, oh, she's been in prison, she's been on bus, all this and that. But you cannot deny what's tangibly sitting there, right? You cannot deny the life that's changed, the buildings that's been built, the properties that's been bought. You cannot deny the 20-year track record. You can't deny that it wasn't a fad, it wasn't a phase. You can't deny that. You can't deny the governor's pardon. You can't deny Ebony Power 100 award. You can't deny these different things. 100 woman. You can't deny something's going on with that formerly incarcerated, drug addicted, homeless woman who came to San Bernardino. You can't deny it, right? And that the fruit of my labor, the fruit of my efforts has manifested to create life for other people, to create life for other people. Because our thing is you help us to help a sister. So service is built into our model. So our women help other women. And that's how this thing goes. That's why you gotta have something that's bigger than you. If I die tomorrow, that doesn't stop what's going on. It's not about Kim Carter. You see what I'm saying? I have to get an award, be on TV, let everybody know I was homeless, on drugs, in prison. Hey, that ain't how people get it. They be like, oh, how you doing that? My God won't allow me to let you think for 1 minute that I got here and did the job myself. You know what I'm saying? He just let me be crazy enough to think I can. And he know I ain't scared to try. I'm bold in that area. I'll try some stuff.
I mean, and you're right. You have touched so many different folks who touch so many different folks who touch. It's like, how you saw the movie Pay It Forward, and the one person came, and then next thing you know, went all around the world, people paying it forward. The efforts that you have, put out there, that's what it's been. It's been a pay it forward. Just even the work when I was with the city of Paris, just you coming in, I sat back and watched all of those different nonprofits who you came in and did the capacity building with them, the capacity building training with those folks. I have watched each and every one of those different organizations that came in there and how they blossomed and how they went on, and then that went on and that went on, and that stemmed from the work that you did with them.
One of the things that I think that I love about this journey is that, you got to pay it forward. And I'm never one to, I'm gonna give you everything that I got. I'm not gonna oh my God, I'm gonna give her this nugget. She's gonna take it and get a better result than me. I'm not a hater. I'm a congratulator. Take it and run with it. Do what I couldn't. Hey, to God be the glory. But at the end of the day, when it comes to nonprofits, they make information so hard for us to go get it. And then when we go get it, I sat in so many rooms at the beginning hoping to learn something that they was never going to teach me, thinking that, oh my God, maybe that, maybe the drugs messed my brain up. Maybe I can't comprehend. Because I left out of there with this big old book that I feel like I can go home and do nothing. But see, that was the game. That was the game of consulting. Right? They keep you on the hook to always need them and you never get nothing done. But I didn't understand that was a part of the nonprofit industrial complex. So that's a part of that whole rigmarole. So you go for grant writing training, you come out, you don't even know how to write a grant. You ain't learned nothing. Money gone. And so I always say I'm going to provide real training. And so the curriculum we put together, I think like 10 to 12 weeks we did, it was designed to make sure that people can learn how to structure their nonprofit business. And now that the more success that we have, the more credibility they believe, oh, she really knows her stuff, right? Because in the beginning, it's like, well, how do you know? You never had a nonprofit. I have a nonprofit. I had a nonprofit. I ran a nonprofit. And trust me, nonprofit is just your tax code. You need to make sure you out there raising funds, getting grants, soliciting donors, because you need to have money. Because when the whole world is ending and there's a pandemic, you're going to have a lot of problems. But you don't want money to be one of them. Like right now, my sisters and brothers, they have nonprofits. They can't afford to keep paying their office rent because of the pandemic, and they can't do their regular work because of the pandemic. We're fortunate that we owned our own buildings, so we didn't have to worry about no rent. See, that's the blessing of becoming self-sufficient. Not just you teach your clients to be self-sufficient, but how are you as a nonprofit becoming self-sufficient? We have fee-for-service programs that help us generate income, right? So we don't never want to be a dependent. We don't want to be a charity that is like, living from hand to mouth. We want to be in position to help other people. And you can't do that when you're struggling. So we believe in that, and we believe in giving back to other nonprofits.
And that's great. That's great because, like I said, it creates the cycle. And one thing I always tell people, I can't stand resource hoggers. People who come and they like, it's all for me, it ain't enough for nobody else. I'ma come up, I could care less about you coming up. I have this information that you can benefit from that's really just gonna not just uplift you, but gonna uplift everybody in our community. But I'ma hold on to that. I can't stand when people are like that. And it's so many people that I've run across just in these different regions who are doing just that. And so for you to be like, wait a minute, okay, I have, I see the model. I see an unconventional model. Let me make sure I get this out to other people so they can go ahead and duplicate and keep this going. Because one, like you said, you can't do it all by yourself. You can't do it all by yourself. You need other people that's going out there, that mouthpiece that's out there like, okay, this is how you do it. And just you teaching that in your programs, even with the women who you help, and how they continue to pay it forward. And like you said, coming back, alumni coming back saying, hey, this is what you need to do. I was in that space 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and you can see it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't I got it together and then 2 weeks later I was right back in the system and my kids was right back in the system. These young women are out here holding their jobs, starting businesses, holding their businesses, taking care of their children. Nobody has to talk about any of that.
Going to college, becoming RN, start getting licenses and stuff. They do a big thing. They do a big thing.
Yes, and I was just really drawn, like I said, to your creativity, to the fact that you said, okay, I there's an apartment here, apartment building here, it's half empty. Hmm, we need housing. We ain't trying to buy it, but we gonna come up in here and enterprise right up in somebody else's spot. For our folks to be able to be able to do what they need to do, and then branch off, and like you said, you being this this sole black woman in an area that has been dominated by all of these different bureaucrats or whatnot, but not doing anything, holding up progress but not making any progress. And then here you come and you going in the area you ain't, blight and all of that stuff. You like, okay, here it is. This ain't the best area, but we finna make it. We finna make it right over here because you had this issues and crimes and all this. But when we come in here, all that gonna be gone because you got this empty buildings, boarded up this. So here we come in here and we brought life to the area. And then they're like, wait a minute now, where she come? How she do this? How she come in here and do this? How is she building? We've been talking about building affordable housing for 15 years. She came in here. She talked about it for a couple months. Next thing you know, she on the agenda. And she's building. So that just there's so much that that's what I mentioned before. Like I can't. There ain't enough that I can say that can just lay out. I definitely can't lay out like a buffet, like hometown buffet. I can't even lay it out like that on the things that you have done throughout these different communities that has made positive changes for people, all types of people. Because yeah, black women have benefited, black men have benefited, but it's all folks have benefited from what you have been doing.
No, I think one of the greatest blessings that I have, and I remember when I was incarcerated and addicted to drugs. I always wanted the life. I always wanted the life. I wanted a life. But I needed an environment to change. And so when we talk about environments, when I see dirt, empty lots and stuff, I see a way to resurrect the building. I see a way to put a hat on and a shovel in my hand, take that photo op, get it out the way, and let's go ahead and start getting these trenches dug so we can go and get this foundation laid. I see housing is such a crucial piece of stability for women, because when your household is right, it's like when your hair is right. Your whole get down is ready. Right, but if you're struggling from couch surfing and not having for your kids to be safe, then it messes with your whole DNA and it cuts off your creativity. So I think one of the strategies a person used is to make sure that we didn't have housing or live in squalid conditions to keep us in a stressful survival mode, so we could never get past the first two rungs of that Maslow hierarchy and getting to the part of actually being self-actualized and be able to give. I totally really believe that I'm going to be a major philanthropist before my journey's done on this earth. I just truly believe that I'm meant to give. I'm meant to give, right? So, okay, Lord, I'm here. Put me in that driver's seat. I'm meant to give.
All right, she said it here, y'all. She said it here.
I'm meant to give.
So when you be up, when you clicking on and you be like, Kim Carter then gave, $2.5 million over here. Kim Carter then gave, she gave over here to this, gave over here to that. You heard it here.
No, exactly. I'm meant to give. I'm meant to give. I'm meant to give. I started off in this world as a taker, and God transformed me into a giver, and I'm meant to give. So that's my purpose. So for your listeners, go to our website, www.timeforchangefoundation.org. I want to talk about an amazing young woman, Vanessa Perez, who is leading the organization in Southern California. I'm now the ambassador. I am doing new projects, expansion projects, and fund development. So we definitely would love for your listeners to log on to our website, watch some of our videos, and meet some of the women on those videos that you can see their journey. We have really good stories on there that women whose lives have transformed. Go to Facebook and do that click and that like thing. How I go. Do all that, and then, hey, if you ever in need of consulting, if you ever need executive management coaching, or if you just want a personal life coach, I am a certified Gallup strength coach. So, we all have strengths. Call me, 951-217-0971. Go on my website, Kim's Champ.
Yeah,
Kim
if you
Champ.
and just from personal, if you haven't done your strength assessment, um, you really need to, because I don't know how people are really leading in their jobs, or just making, especially those who are looking to transition and looking like, okay, where do I go from here? You definitely need to do your strength assessment, because I mean, it was very eye opening for me.
Oh my God, three of my strengths are the least are least three of my strengths are three of the rarest.
Uh-huh.
So I'm activated command, relator, self-assurance, and ideation. So,
Uh-huh.
so activated, I'm always ready to go. People think I'm impatient. I'm not impatient. I'm just ready to go. You know what I'm saying? And then command is me. I have presence. So that's why I'm able to do great motivational speaking and be a keynote, because I have a great presence for my command. And I also will lean into the debate. So I don't run from a fight. I stand for the fight. Related me, I can talk to anybody. Self-assurance is just basically meaning that I feel like I make good decisions for myself. And ideation, that's not ideation. I get all kind of ideas. I used to think it was kind of schizo. Now I know it was a gift. I was going to need these ideas to come with a new way to keep reinventing myself, reinvent the organization, to keep moving forward, to stay relevant and stay on top. So it was all worth it.
I tell you, you are doing so much, and it sounds like you got a lot of things going on in terms of the future. There's so much going on. You said you're working on legislation, you're working on these business enterprise, which I think is such a fabulous idea, because especially that
The Bebop
the
Center.
yes,
Bebop Center.
you
Yes.
know, you got a lot of great things going on. Like I said, you're filling the gaps. You're filling the gaps. You're taking care of the needs, because everything that you mentioned is what I always hear out and about in the communities, not just here in California, just across the nation, where people just don't have that. And we always look to government to take care of those things. But no, that's why we do have our nonprofit organizations, our different community-based organizations, to help fill in those gaps, because who knows how to do it better than the folks who's been out there on the field doing it. So we just need some of the government to hand over them dollars so that these efforts can continue to be supported. But you're phenomenal. You're doing phenomenal work. Your organization's doing phenomenal work. Vanessa is out there doing phenomenal work. I tell folks all the time, I will Facebook stalk you in a minute. I'll be sitting over there on the sidelines like, ooh, I see that. Let me hit like, or let me hit some hearts. But I be watching everything that you guys are doing and got going on, and you're doing fabulous work, and
Thank you.
continue to do it. And we're gonna continue to lift you up in prayer so that you can continue to do it, and to make sure that everything that tries to come against you is, you know, so
No weapons formed. No weapons formed.
that's right. No weapons formed, and increase your territory. So you are covered. And again, I thank you for being a part of the show. You have, like I said, you have dropped them nuggets, and I'm not talking about chicken or catfish. So y'all put your tartar sauce away and your barbecue sauce, because she dropped some nuggets over here that really is gonna take our sister friends to another level. So you guys have her contact information. She put it out there. So don't be DMing me 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning talking about, let me holler at Kim. Give me Kim's number. Give me Kim information. If you was paying attention, you got it. But
Hold up.
but we
Hey,
will make it
hold up.
available.
www.kim. Matter of fact, just Google my name. Google Kim Carter. That's gonna get you on a trail.
Yeah,
Google my
Google
name,
Kim.
Kim Carter. Kim Carter.
Google
I'm in the
Kim
Bay
Carter.
Area. My standby number still works. 951-217-0971. www.kim, S as in Sam, champ, CHAMP.com.
All right. So you have the information, ladies. Do not delay. I'm telling you, reach out to Kim. Kim is one of the greatest resources that I have ever met, and that's why she is here, because we own the table. We
Thank
built the
you so
table,
much,
therefore we
Maya.
own
You're
it.
awesome political badass. Woo woo. Thank you, my
Thank you.
sister. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. All
Have a
right, you
great
guys, thank you
Wednesday.
for tuning in for another episode of We Own the Table, and
We
we'll
on
check
the
you out.
table.
We own the table. Don't bring no folding chair because we own the table. You have a seat.
We not on the menu. We on the table.
That's right. We own it. All right. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.